Hello and welcome to another video. My name's Swithers and this week I learned how to do a headstand. So I've always wanted to learn how to do a handstand, but handstands are very difficult. And with no experience, I decided first of all to learn how to do a headstand, as this would, build up some shoulder strength and get me used to balancing whilst upside down. This video I'm doing in a slightly different format, so first of all, as per usual, I'll show you my progress and my journey learning how to do a headstand. But then at the end, I'll give you some beginner's tips of things that I would have personally liked to know before starting to learn it, so if you guys then try and learn it, you'll have the best advantage possible. I will also direct you to the resources I used whilst learning it, as obviously there are people far more experienced with this than me that can then give you the more advanced tips on how to do it. So, with all that out of the way, here's me learning how to do a headstand. I set the goal for this video at a 30-second continuous headstand hold. I started off just trying to do a headstand a couple of times without any research in how to do it properly. Needless to say, this didn't go very well, and I don't have some magical built-in natural talent for the headstand. After nearly putting a hole in the wall from falling over, I decided to A. turn around, and B. also look up a quick guide on how to headstand, and then I got back to it. I had some limited success in this first session, but after about 15 minutes or so, I called it quits and carried on with my other exercise for the day. I wanted to keep the sessions short so I could do them often without tiring out the specific muscles I use to do headstands. Before the second session, I did a lot more research on how to headstand properly and actually decided to start the session with some quick, headstand specific warm-up exercises. These really helped get blood flow into the muscles I actually needed to be using, and I would recommend anyone who tries this to do some warm-up beforehand. It makes the actual training itself a lot more effective. Thanks to this, I instantly had a good hold to start with, matching, if not exceeding, the previous day's best. Still had a couple of fails, of course, but overall some really good progress from the day before. The research I had done definitely paid off. Again, I kept the session short in order to not overdo it. On day 3, I had some high hopes. I really wanted to start working on straightening my legs and getting a proper headstand hold, as I felt I had alright balance with my knees bent already. To my surprise, this worked almost straight away, and was actually a more comfortable position for me to hold and balance in than when I had my knees bent. I was pretty confident I had a chance at the full 30 seconds in this session. After one particularly good attempt, I had no idea if I'd reached the full 30 seconds, but after reviewing the footage I saw that it was only a measly 29 seconds. An absolute failure, quite frankly.
Oh, how long was that?
I knew I was close though, and still thought I could get the full 30 seconds in this session, especially with the help of my training partner.
Look at this. He's just been sitting there the entire time because he wants to eat the plant. And he's pretending he doesn't want to.
Unfortunately, after a lot of attempts I got rather tired and just kept getting worse. After failing to get 30 seconds many times, I decided to call it a day before I hurt myself. Day 4 rolled around and I was feeling confident. We had a new camera angle and the classic chonk vest on. This was the day. After a small warm-up again, I went for some attempts. I actually managed over 30 seconds on this attempt here, but I didn't realise as I had no way of timing myself. So I got the stopwatch up on my phone and went for a proper timed attempt. After some close attempts,
That was close.
I finally got over 30 seconds, for the first time that I knew about at least.
Come on. Oh, that must have been it. That was plenty enough. Come on.
Just for good measure and to check that this wasn't a fluke, I did it again and held it for about 40 seconds, so I was happy to say that I'd achieved my goal of learning to do a headstand. I've carried on practicing the headstand for a few days whilst editing this video and can consistently and comfortably hold the position now. Hopefully I can begin to progress to a handstand from here. Well, there we go. I did a headstand. So what did I learn from this? What are those beginner's tips that I mentioned at the start? Tip number 1. When you're going to fall over, unclasp your hands, so take them from here to there. If you don't do this, your head and a large amount of the weight of your body will be directly on your fingers, which hurts a lot. Tip 2 then follows on from that. Practice failing on purpose a couple of times. I was hesitant at first to really go for it because I was scared of falling over. If you just practice falling over on purpose a couple of times, it becomes way less scary and you can go for it a lot more easily after that because you've got over that initial fear. Tip number 3. Keep the sessions short. It's surprisingly difficult to hold a headstand, especially when you are learning it, as I found out. It's a lot easier to make the micro adjustments that are needed to keep yourself balanced when you're a lot more fresh. I found that when I was kind of going past the 15-minute mark of practicing each day, that's when I started having a lot more failed and wasted attempts. So I would recommend no more than 15 minutes at a time practicing this, and just make sure you rest your shoulders properly in between sessions. This will help you maximise the time that you do spend practicing the headstand then. Tip number 4. Make sure to use your hips. When I first started, I was really using my forearms to try to make the micro adjustments to keep myself balanced. This was, really taxing on the shoulders and the arms, and I couldn't do it for too long. But once I realised just to use my hips and shift my hips backwards and forwards to make those small adjustments to keep myself balanced, it became way easier, way less stress on the body then to be able to hold it. Focus on shifting your hips back and forward to keep yourself balanced, and it ends up being much easier. And then finally, tip number 5. Just don't give up. Keep chipping away with those 10 to 15 minute sessions each day, and you'll have it in no time. Having the rest of the day in between those sessions really allows your body to build all that muscle memory to be able to get into that headstand position a lot more easily the next time you try it. Anyways, that's it from me for this video. So of course, if you enjoyed and you would like to see more of this type of video, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you get notifications every time I upload. And as always, I'm always looking for ideas of new challenges and skills that I can attempt or learn in future videos. So let me know in the comments section what I should try and do next. I'm always open to ideas. Anyway, thank you all ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.